Hi everybody, Corrie here. Uh, just coming in to do a little bit of explaining where your videos are for the month for the Zodiac. Please don't unsubscribe. I'm coming back. I'm in the process of restructuring, redefining some of my work, my life, my personal life, and many other things that are in the change. You know, when spring comes, the seeds that you planted last fall or the seeds that were, under the ground start to sprout up. Well, the seeds that were planted are ready to kind of break through. And so I find myself in an energy of having my own breakthroughs and my own aha moments and my own realizations of some of my own truths. So the readings, the forecast monthly readings, not always doing the best. And my YouTube channel is still not my biggest following. And so, when you're trying to build things, it gets very discouraging when you've been doing this for 20 years to see that this is where you are. So, in looking at my big picture and looking at what's important to me and where I put my focus, this is a truth. And I tell you, I share pretty much everything that I possibly can about me and my journey and where I've been. And there's a lot of things that are not really succeeding in my life right now. And there's a lot of things that are succeeding very, very well. And my YouTube channel is one of them. That's not really working so well for me. And because of that, I'm having to revisit the plan, trying to restructure. So you will be seeing me have two YouTube channels. Um, and the second YouTube channel that you're going to be seeing is going to be called, or is called, because I had it all along. It's just that I was incorporating all the work under one. And what I've discovered is that I don't think that's a very wise thing. So sometimes you do have to break away from the parts of you that you love the most. So I'm having a little bit of a breakup with some of my with keeping my work all together, and I'm separating my work. And so the other YouTube channel is called She Is. It is the podcast channel, and it's where all my podcasts will go. So you will not be seeing the podcast in this channel after this week. You will be seeing the podcast under She Is. So if you've been watching my podcasts in here, they've been called Keeping It Real. I will move those over into the new one, and it's the More Than Existing Keeping It Real. But where I am right now, I'm working on a lot of new work, and she is her own creation. I got very frustrated and very upset with myself and just kind of getting like just feeling defeated with the fact that we have to be these niche and be defined. And I'm turning freaking 50 years old. I am tired of having to be defined by the rules and the laws and being trying to push myself to fit into a box where I don't belong. So there's a whole lot of the social media world where I don't belong. There's a whole place here where I'm finding it hard to find that middle ground, to find where I belong. And so I am putting it out there. Anybody wants to help me out? No, I'm joking. I'm also realizing that I just got my mic on facing out instead of facing in. I always hide this part in. And today, look at me. I got a sprig hanging out from above my boob. That's nice. That's an antenna. That's the essence of me calling out. So, no matter how long we've been in the business, no matter how long we've been doing this work, sometimes we have to stop, revisit, take a good look. And this is one of those times. So, first and foremost, you've been watching on my YouTube also that you are seeing all of my dailies. So, all those cards that I'm doing every day, that's my Oracle cards. This is what I've been working on. This is my creation of the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards that are a whole, like me, they're going to be one of those things that, are they goddess? Are they angels? What the hell is she and where does she belong? I was born this way. I can't help it that I'm a little bit of everything, and I am collective too. I collect all this information, this wisdom, this knowledge, but I'm a channel. So when channel speaks, channel lays out what it needs to say and what it wants to say, and it's not always what I want. So the podcasts are more based around what is written, what I have written about, things that I have done, and so I'm going to be moving those. But the everyday ones, they'll still be here, and that's broadcasting Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So I think because of that, they're not getting spread the same way, but I can only spread myself so thin. So to support me and my work, to really truly be able to make this grow and to know where the hell I should place myself, to have everybody subscribe, follow, share is so important in the work. So important, because most of this work that we do is free. And when you see people talking about making millions of dollars from YouTube and from sponsorship, yeah, no, that don't happen in this world as of today. And after all these years, I can't tell you I've made it to the millionaire, but I've made it to being, I've made it to golden. And that's within my own heart, my own life, that I have truly accepted all of who I am. I have made peace with it all. And that who you get, who you see and where I am in my life, this is real. And this is, I truly keep it real. And I wouldn't trade my life. I wouldn't, and I don't have any regrets of the past, but I do know that it's important that we keep growing and spreading and learning, and also discovering what is sacred and what needs to stay. And I can't separate from my channel, from the mystic that I am, and from my relationship with God, because that's a whole part of being a mystic, is that you channel through that. So you can call that energy whatever you like. I call that energy God. And so for a long time, I called it nothing. And I thought that was, it's like, I know where I'm communicating to. I know what I'm communicating to. I don't know what's really out there, but I know what I'm communicating to, and I know how it feels, and it's all love and light. So in that essence, I'm honoring that. So today I wanted to come in and to give a 3-card reading, to just give a little heads up of what's happening, why you're not seeing the astrologies or my monthly horoscopes that I do for everybody. They will be back, I hope. Um, they're coming back. I just want to get things separated so that I can start to really lay down exactly what this channel will be and exactly what the other channel will be. And so the other channel is She Is. There is nothing on there yet. I will get things up there this week, and I will start to share that one as well. So today I'm sharing one of my cards, and it is Sacred Sarah. And Sacred Sarah truly is about that whole taking time to sit in silence, to be quiet, to understand that, you may be concerned about being forgettable, about being forgotten. And you hear that so much in this world. Oh, you got to be seen or else you're going to be forgotten. The most important people that decide where you'll be in your future don't ever forget you, because everything of how everyone else makes you a promise that they're going to give you the world and give you the promises give you these, make these promises to you that they're going to make you famous, make you rich, make you be seen. Not one of those are true follow throughs, because they don't get to decide how you get there. What is in the plan is in the plan. What is designed for you and where the invocation of where you're meant to be placed will be there. You just got to stay in faith and trust and keep taking the action steps, keep moving forward towards yourself. So when you look at beautiful Sacred Sarah, and you look at where she comes from, and you look at that she doesn't look like anybody else, you're wondering, well, why is she blue? Well, she's blue because she's not of this earth. She is like the Palladians, but she's crystal clear. She is of spirit. And so when we start to allow ourselves to live of spirit and still be here up on earth, we can live as if we can live of spirit and be up on this earth and not wait to die to find heaven on earth. That we can create that while we're here, because it's waiting to die, waiting to get to heaven to find peace and contentment, to find happiness and joy, is taking us farther and farther away from being able to enjoy the human existence. So here where we are today, here where we sit today, is that we allow ourselves to be able to be present in who we are and know that we can live as spirit. We can live by creating our heaven on earth, that there is no judgment, there's no criticism, there's no need to cause hurt or pain upon another. And every time that you say, oh, I know my behaviors, my actions are causing hurt to somebody else, well, there's a part of you that wants everyone else to feel what you're feeling. And as much as you don't think you do, you really do subconsciously, somewhere deep inside of you, is that you want somebody else to witness and experience what you're feeling in hope that they can understand you. And nobody can walk in that story, that pain. It's impossible. You're the one walking in your shoes and your journey. Other people will be there to love you, to show you light, to hold space. But what we want what we want of somebody else is expectations. And it takes us farther away from the happiness and joy. It takes us farther away from being a part of anything that feels loving, because no matter what, you're going to carry that story with you for a long time. We don't have to hurt other people. You really don't. And we don't have to do those things to other people. We really don't. But how other people perceive it and take it, that means that's out of your control and you can't control that. But you don't have to be saying, you don't have to be doing those things that cause the most hurt. Honesty, loyalty, loyalty with common sense. So loyalty to a fault means that sometimes you lay everything out and you don't, and you, because you're still trying to get what you want. You want to be loved, you want to be liked, you want to be popular, you want to create, what is your motive, right? And so when you have no motive, you have no manipulation. When you have neither one of those, you now set yourself free of everything else that becomes placing yourself upon the cross and crucifying yourself and others based on what you are feeling, sensing, what story you're telling yourself in here. And that's the truth. And so I don't know why they say that. That's the truth, but that's how they put it. So these are comes with the guardians. And then the other card that comes out is the soul connection. This is Vidoma. And Vidoma is truly connected to spirit, and she understands the power of spirit. She understands the spirit within and the spirit out there. So she knows the connection to soul self. She knows the connection to higher self, and she knows the connection even beyond there. So she knows that she has this crystal ball. She knows she can look in. She knows she can predetermine. She can see what's happening, or she can take that story and start to create from a place of saying, I can probably miss out on some of this human existence. I can probably miss out on some of this human stories. And I can go to spirit and just listen to spirit and just like jump through the hoops of this, or I can connect to the spirit of the people upon earth. And so as a mystic, as a channel, as someone who very much spends a lot of time connected to spirit world, I used to want to so badly be out there more than I wanted to be here. And that's the truth, because out there, I felt so much more love. I didn't feel the judgment. I didn't feel the hurt. It was like I wasn't being attacked for my light. You weren't to blame for everything that was going wrong in everybody's life. And you also stop picking on yourself when you're out there. You get it, you understand it. And so but being a human is that you have to pull yourself back down, ground yourself to here. So the soul connection, where you begin to build the most healthiest relationship, is the one by coming home to you, finding your way back into you and coming into here. Truth. And that's where you find your most beautiful connections. And then the final card that I'm going to give for this today, that's going to be, and this is being recorded on March the 15th. And this is the diamond effect. And I'm chuckling at this because this is what I was writing about today. And this is the diamond effect to outgrowth if effects, right? And so there is a whole lot of when you start to when you start to live within what we call the Christ-like, or the embody the light, that you start to embrace being to be the light worker or the light being, is that you start to realize that when you start to come from a place of light and love, is that everything that grows from there will grow with light and love and towards light and love. So you're always growing towards what's going to be of the highest good for you, and the highest good for those around you, and the highest good for everything that you want to, that is meant, not what you want all the time, what is here for you to create and to live in. And that diamond effect is about learning to trust spirit, learning to trust soul, learning to have faith. And when you learn to have faith in you, you learn to be able to rebuild the faith that you had in something that's within you, that's so powerful that it connects to the universal energy. And when you allow yourself to connect to the universal energy, you allow yourself to start accepting that we all have a positive and a negative. We all have a male, we all have a masculine side. We all have all of this. But the new energy that we're shifting into is about wholeness. We're getting ready, I think, for an equinox coming up, and it just feels like we're getting ready to look into the world with a new eye, and a fresh eye, which means start to use your third eye connection rather than your human eyes, because what we're witnessing and seeing is not so pretty. And I can tell you, where I live today, something like horrible happened to this within this small little city today. and it's so sad and it's heartbreaking, and it's just hard to believe that, that people can get to that place, that they go to such a place to cause that much, to cause want to cause so much harm, that they take somebody's life. And that's a, that's a horrible thing, that humanity, that we become that, but we have been witnessing it since the beginning of time. And when we can start to make a change within ourselves, and we can start doing healing in us, if we embody the light, maybe others can see that as a reflection of hope, and people can return to hope, and not have false hope. And promises often give false hope. And when you make those big promises that you can't maintain because you don't have enough gas in your tank, or you don't have enough energy, then it truly starts to take away the sacred pieces of you, because you leave yourself being defining yourself by what you could not achieve, or what was not achievable. And sometimes that takes people to their darkest and deepest places. And we don't know what happens in any story, and we don't know what happens in any situation. We don't know what happens that take people to that dark place. All you know is that from a place of love and light, when we make a connection, sorry, when we make a connection to us, when we move beyond the smoke and mirror images, and so I'm validating this, when we move beyond the smoke and mirror images, this uh, Mayra. And so when we move beyond the smoke and mirrors, and we move beyond the illusions, and we start to see our truth, when we see our truth, we start to see love. And when you are become aware of your awareness of your truth, what you're doing is you're becoming awareness of the power of love. And when we can learn to power up on love, we can bring about a change. And so the change that we need to see in the world starts with dignity, integrity, and humanity, and starting to really truly get back to the connection with humanity, and not so much with the imposter light, or the illusion that we have the best friends in the world sometimes, because we got only this connection that's happening. And so there's still your neighbors, there's still the people in your neighborhood, and the people in your neighborhood still matter. So who's in your neighborhood? Who's in your company? Who is it that holds space for you? Who's there for you? Who was there for you? And you start to believe that they're no longer there when you get that far away from self. And so as I'm redefining and restructuring and rebuilding parts of me in my life, is that I'm also looking at humanity as a whole, and my love and respect for humanity and for the people that are around me, is that More Than Existing was truly built because I realized that everybody does matter, and that I don't have to have an opinion about somebody else. And so, and I don't get to judge another. And that judgment doesn't happen out there either, I hate to tell you. And so we judge our own selves. When we do something that is out of alignment with our truth, we become our own biggest enemy. And so the judgment is the one that you place upon yourself, and the harm that you cause to yourself by doing the harmful things that you then have to live with in your heart, that turns you into that dark place. So the validation for this, to finish it, can't make this up, is the card, the awareness of truth, Corina. And Corina is my truth, and who she really is, and why I ran from her, and why I hated on that name, and who I really was for so many years, was, and hated everything. Not hated, that's a harsh word. Who I hated the name. I think I loved the person, but I hated the name. And because so many stories came from this soft, kind-hearted person, that she tried to run from her because she was a problem. That weird, wacky girl, she was she found herself becoming the blame, the accusations of a lot of things, and so she ran from her. And I don't mean always by the world, I mean by herself. And so when she decided to start to create an identity, didn't realize that part of that was based on the condition of who you're told to believe, and the other parts were who you're afraid to be. But because you're afraid to be, sorry. And because you're afraid to be all of you, because you don't feel that's enough, because the stories you told yourself over the years was that you were not enough, you were forgotten, whatever it may be, kept you from being able to fall in love with all parts of you. When you return to the awareness of truth, to who you are, that we are all a spiritual being having a human experience, and that when you keep seeking and searching to create, to wait to get out of here to live that heaven, is that you're not going to ever know it from your human self, because you'll be back to spirit. And the spirit that's inside of you already knows the connection to heaven. They're already living in heaven, no matter what your human does. So finding the best, living as the best human that you can be today is the best thing that you can do for your happiness, for your joy, and for creating your heaven on earth. Speak, let the soul speak to you, and your life will change. Much love.